CM Punk is a man that people like to talk about for obvious reasons, and that's what we are going to do today. We're going to get in a time machine, because we are moving past WrestleMania 41. Now, yes, my track record with these things is pretty damn bad, but that just works out all the way, because if I do get it right, we can do the dance of joy, and if I absolutely suck, you can laugh at me in the comments and go, Simon, you don't know what you're talking about, which is totally true. But the two big matches at the moment from the men's side of things, well, the Jey Uso Gunther match as well, but we're not getting into that at the moment, are CM Punk versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins on the other side. Heel John Cena, I'm going to ruin wrestling, taking on Cody Rhodes. Now, it all comes on the Raw promo that John Cena did cut the other day, where he said, essentially, I'm probably going to bring back the spinner belt to annoy you all. I'm going to beat Cody Rhodes, and then I will walk away from WWE as the true world's champion, and you can just make another belt off, and you can all fight over that toy, because, again, I am the real deal. It's a bit like John, there is another world championship, but again, he's a heel, so he can say terrible, terrible things. Now, if you are an old school WWE watcher, pains me to say that, but it was a long old time ago, 14 years ago. This is essentially, and look, he may be saying it just so we can go, tee-hee, I know what he's referencing, or maybe it's meant to be more of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We are going to go down this path, but yes, back in 2011 at the Money in the Bank, what did CM Punk do? He was feuding with John Cena, he won the WWE title, and he ran away, and he put the belt in his fridge in Chicago. Now, WWE screwed this up. It was nothing to do with Cena. It was nothing to do with Punk. It was just to do with the booking and the management at the time. He came back within 2 weeks, I think. There was also a stupid tournament where Rey Mysterio won it, and John Cena just challenged him and beat him. We're like, how is that a babyface move, John Cena? But then again, now, in 2025, Johnny Boy can probably reference this like, I meant to do it. I want to destroy Rey. And then you could do that match again, too, which I would like before John Cena retires. But you see what I'm getting at here. We can flip reverse it. John Cena can beat Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41. He then flies off into the distance. WrestleMania 41 will essentially be over on like the 22nd of April. We shouldn't see him for a month. So towards the end of May. I'd actually go longer, but it's his last year. You don't want to push the boat out too much. I think a solid 4 weeks is okay. 6 is better, but I understand we are living in different times. But it's better than 2. Not 2. 2 absolutely sucks. And now to move on to CM Punk, I think he could beat Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, or at least be the winner of that match, a triple threat match. So loads of things you can do. And the big thing he does is like, John, do you remember what I said to you after the Elimination Chamber when I stood on here and basically called you and The Rock bald guys? It hurt me deep down for obvious reasons. Well, now you've walked away with the title. You're stealing my shtick. I can't believe you've done all of this. And I'm calling you out. I'm challenging your ass. This is the best thing about having CM Punk in this position. He doesn't have to be on every single Raw, but he should cut 2, maybe 3 of these pure fire promos where he just gets under John and he throws barbs at him, he drops pipe bombs, as CM Punk and everybody in wrestling wants to do these days, when eventually John Cena does come back. And the big program coming out of WrestleMania is champion heel John Cena taking on CM Punk. Now, that's absolutely ludicrous in many ways. It's so silly. But when I sat down to think about it, one, it's a great program and something that WWE has struggled with, not recently, but more often than not, if you do go back in time once again, is making sure the momentum keeps up after WrestleMania, which makes all the sense in the world. WrestleMania is meant to be a full stop, then you get to the Raw after WrestleMania, and you get a bunch of new storylines. I bet you get a bunch of debuts, probably Aleister Black on that SmackDown, maybe Miro/Rusev eventually too. And then we kick things off and we build to WrestleMania 42. That's just how it works. But if you're telling everyone it's going to be CM Punk versus John Cena, nostalgia heads will be super into this for obvious reasons. John Cena is a major draw that gets in all demographics, so that's going to work. And my main reason I wanted to talk about it right now, because it hits me like a ton of bricks every time I see it, CM Punk is so crazy over. Arguably more over than he was 10 years ago, more over than he was in AEW, because, you know, it's always about where you end up. And to get to this position, you have to go through all of that. It's what a lot of people say about pro wrestling. The best thing you can actually do sometimes if you are in WWE and you are stuck in a rut is leave. Because when you come back, you're twice the star. I often ponder what would happen to Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins does not get the respect or the deserving nature that he is due. I think maybe it's because he's just been there for a long amount of time. I mean, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, there'll be other people we could talk about as well. The Rock, to a lesser degree, because of course he fell out with WWE after WrestleMania 20 when they didn't offer him a new contract, which is the dumbest thing ever. And then he comes back in 2011, which I believe was a 7-year gap, maybe a 5-year gap. I can't remember. No, it was a 7-year gap because it's WrestleMania 27. So CM Punk right now, again, I think is arguably one of the most over people in the company. You've got him, you've got Roman Reigns, you've got Cody Rhodes. I'm going to shift John Cena to one side because he's a quote-unquote part-timer. CM Punk not being in a world title program. I know lots of people want us to wait until WrestleMania 42 and put him in the main event. I mean, he could be the main event at WrestleMania 41, depending where they want to put that triple threat. But I think CM Punk has too much moxie right now and too much belovedness from the fans. You don't want to wait that long before he's given a world championship. Like, he is of such an ilk, he doesn't actually need a title. He's a bit like The Undertaker. It's like, oh, he's so spooky. We don't have to give him a pot of gold. But I also think the way that WWE is structured right now and the way that Punk has talked about business and money and wanting championships, him not going after it eventually is going to rub people the wrong way, which I totally understand because they want it. And when you break wrestling right down, that's what you should do. Give the fans what they want. Another problem with the old WWE. And I just think it's an amazing story. And we are on the clock when it comes to John Cena. And I don't know whether they plan to do a John Cena feud. I don't know whether the heel turn for John Cena was last minute. Who cares? We end up where we end up. We've Google mapped to the correct place. And if John Cena is going to be more or less around, he's still got a lot of dates on the books, then who do you want him to fight if he does beat Cody for the championship? Even if he doesn't beat Cody for the championship, I still think it should be CM Punk that he goes into a program with. But as we've talked about on these videos before, he can't go super duper bad guy and cash in his morals and cash in his goodwill and then not be a little bit successful. That's a crappy heel turn. John Cena is one of the GOATs, man. You don't give him a crappy heel turn. You make sure you go all the way with it. But it just makes all the sense in the world to me. And I think this was probably when we did do that triple threat seed for the first time, you know, when Roman Reigns came out and said, I hate everybody. So Seth Rollins came out and CM Punk came out, the SmackDown one. And listen, everybody was over in their own way. And you could probably argue it was him or Roman Reigns, but CM Punk just has this, again, this magnetism, this, what's the word I'm even looking for? But he's just a fascinating fellow, right? And of course, he rubs people the wrong way, but then people will love him. They'll follow him to the ends of the earth. And other people want to just go, I hate you. He's an anomaly, man. And being that kind of anomaly in the world of sports entertainment is only going to help you out. And I just think you got to do it. And that's the only reason I would have him win the triple threat. Like, anybody could win the triple threat. Seth Rollins could win the triple threat. But if CM Punk does it, it just puts him in the ultimate position to call John Cena out. Because if he loses, John Cena can just be like, you lost, you absolute goober. Why the hell would I challenge you? And the other plus point of that is that I do think we should wrap up the Roman Reigns Seth Rollins stuff. We've wanted that one-on-one match for years. Again, it's 11 years in the making, whatever the flub it is. And arguably, you could say we probably should have done that at WrestleMania, or Roman versus Punk at Mania, or Punk versus CM Punk. You could do that. Punk versus Seth Rollins and sort of really draw a line under that. And there's also sort of reasons to say that Seth Rollins should win this because he has lost to Punk twice. But I would have some kind of shenanigans where I would pin Roman. I know it's not going to happen. I'm living in a dream world. But I just think that then not only allows Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns to go off to do their thing, but when you want to do Roman versus CM Punk, that's in the bag too. I mean, you could actually launch that after WrestleMania. So we do have options here. And I don't actually think it matters who he pins more often than not. Because again, Roman could cost Seth and CM Punk takes advantage. And then Seth is like, Roman, you absolute moron. And that's why they started to feud. And then Seth Rollins has to win that one. That's a different conversation for a different day. But I just think it would be awesome. I just think it would be exciting. I think CM Punk could probably beat John Cena for the WWE title at one point. I don't think that would be the worst thing in the world. Although I also kind of like the booking that John Cena goes all the way through to his last. There's two trains of thought here, right? One, he goes all the way through to the December pay-per-view that should be called John Cena Hustle, Loiter, Inspect No More, but I'm going away, please buy a ticket. And Cody Rhodes beats him there, and he gets his win back, but then magically John Cena becomes a babyface again, so he can say goodbye. We have done that before, and I'm sure there'll be a Raw where he come out and go, I was only kidding. Or the other one is you get to SummerSlam, he's already gone babyface again. But the best way to do that is to take the title off him. It's going to be super duper hard to do that if he's still the WWE champ and has to go, I didn't mean it, after he's won that championship by nefarious and probably help with The Rock means. I just think you back yourself into a corner. Whereas if you keep it sort of slight and light, then yeah, he can lose it and then go, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And listen, maybe the last match, someone said this to me the other day, maybe you do that and it's The Rock that accidentally then gets involved and screws him over, and you do The Rock versus John Cena in December, or you do The Rock versus John Cena at some other major event. That would do mega numbers. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's pie in the sky. But when someone said it to me, I was like, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. And once again, it just stacks 2025 to levels that maybe we couldn't have imagined. So yes, I do admit the WrestleMania build has been, I don't want to say bad. Lots of people will say bad. I'm still enjoying it, and there's still good things that I'm taking from it. Again, everything with John Cena. I understand there's plot holes there in the sense that nobody will talk about The Rock, and Cody won't talk about The Rock. The commentators won't talk about The Rock. Also don't understand why Cody wouldn't just punch him in the face, given what those three did to him at the Elimination Chamber. But sometimes when something is fun and entertaining, you know, I can be into it. It's the same with Punk versus Seth versus Roman. The fact we're even getting that at WrestleMania seems crazy to me, given the kind of shots these guys took over the last 10 years when Punk was here and Punk was there, etc., etc. So it is exciting, and I think the two Mania days will be awesome, and we'll have a lot to talk about. I mean, the Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky stuff is absolutely overthought and absolutely overbooked, and I like a good overbooking, but there's lines to this too, and we've probably stepped over to it. But imagine that match on the Saturday or the Sunday. It's going to be absolutely wunderbar, as is Jey Uso winning the World Championship. I've talked about this enough. You're not going to sway me now. I love that guy. And the new thing is people go, well, Jey Uso is for kids. I am not a child. You may have been aware of this, and I'm into the man. I don't know what that says about me. I just think of ways to, well, it's twofold, really. It opens up Cody Rhodes to go into something brand new and exciting and different, which, again, we're going to have to tie up that storyline, because why wouldn't he go after John Cena? That would be difficult. I guess you could argue he's a SmackDown guy. That'd be the worst thing ever. I wouldn't be able to handle it. And also, it wouldn't work. SmackDown wouldn't have a world champion, so absolutely do not do that. But there was a rumor that Drew McIntyre was meant to feud with Cody after this. If Cody isn't the champion, Drew McIntyre will actually win some matches, and we need that, and Cody is Teflon. Everyone is so worried about Cody being booed or Cody starting to lose matches. I think by now, in our third year, I think it was our third year, came back at 38, right? 39, 40, 41. In our third year, if anything does turn Cody, it's not going to be a one-off incident. It's going to be a barrage of things. He's going to be totally fine. There's nothing to worry about. And I will love him to the cows come home. So that's one person he's got in his corner. But Drew McIntyre could easily go into a feud with Cody and at least get the first win. And then even if Drew goes on to lose the feud, which he probably would do, which would be both good and sad because I'm into both guys. But that first win, and Drew will do this because he's the best, hammer it home, hammer it home, hammer it home. You know, I was the last guy to pin you, Cody, and look, after all this time, I'm the next guy. I've got your number. And it probably also means when Cody Rhodes does win back the championship, who can be one of his challengers? Drew McIntyre. And in that world, Drew McIntyre could probably beat him too. In the interim, you could also do the feud with Randy Orton that we're waiting for. I was a big fan and still am. I would push this a lot into the ether that Randy Orton could be the guy to beat Cody Rhodes for the championship. But if he is going to lose it and John Cena is going to spin out to other things, then just get that done as well. It was never really about the title. I just thought a heel horrible Randy Orton winning that championship from essentially one of his mentorees, the other way around, one of his trainees, whatever you want to say. He's the mentor to Cody Rhodes would be so wonderfully horrible. And sometimes I like that in wrestling. The feud itself was more about the story. It was about their legacy, for lack of a better term, the irony there, their experiences, their history, because they go back years. And there was actually an interview that Randy Orton did. Have to forgive me, I should source this stuff, but sometimes these facts just pop into my head. When way back in like 2014, maybe in like 2011, it was super early on, he said Cody Rhodes would be a future world champion. And we didn't believe him in 2016 when he left. Nobody probably believed that when he came back, but Cody went and did it, and now he's the biggest star in the industry, or at least one of. So it just opens up so many doors. It gets me excited, it gets me interested, it gets me invested, which is also meant to be the point when it comes to pro wrestling. And it would mean going into the summer, CM Punk is probably the champion. And if you are going to have a 2-night SummerSlam, I mean, who does he even match up with? Maybe that's where he does beat John Cena. Maybe you kind of carry it on all the way out there. But Punk is just the guy right now. And something that we have never done, no, let me rephrase that. Something that did happen back in the day is that people wouldn't jump on this stuff, right? You would just kind of let it filter out. And you shouldn't do that with CM Punk. I think actually there's another level you can probably shift him to, because just go listen to the crowds, go listen to the reactions, go listen to their eyes when he's cutting a promo, and of course the pops when he comes out to his music. The man is, well, say whatever you want, but he is in the position he always wanted to be. So let's capitalize on it and let's see what happens. And even if it does suck, you can undo it. I get that all the time now, and I understand it's because we're passionate and we want to sort of throw our ideas out there. But one mistake doesn't end a company, and that's the same with AEW or WWE or Ring of Honor or TNA. I would rather everybody throw stuff at the wall, especially if it does make sense, and then go, man, it didn't really go the way I was expecting, because we get so much wrestling content throughout the year. If we don't do that, it's going to get really boring, and maybe that kind of ties into the WrestleMania build. Maybe it is just a little bit too obvious, and that's why people don't like it. I would not put myself in that category, because I find myself enjoying most of the shows. And I am intrigued about what we do on SmackDown this week, because I think you really have to do something massive with that contract signing between Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins, because there was a slight, well, I thought that could be better when they met last week, so now let's make sure that doesn't happen again. But of course, none of this matters. The only thing that matters is your opinion, so please do drop me a comment below. And when you are clicking down there, like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the notification bell, the magical notification bell. Otherwise, I promise you, GorillaMind.com/Simon. These are the supplements you want. 10% off using the code Simon. It ships worldwide. Come give me a follow at Simon316 on all social media. Simon Miller on Cameo to get a personalized message. Simon on TikTok. ProWrestlingTees.com/Simon Miller. SimonMiller.BigCartel.com for dumb merchandise that I think is funny. And why wouldn't you want to wear a funny shirt? But keep enjoying professional wrestling as much as you can. It's supposed to entertain you. It's meant to be a positive endeavor. So even when it does suck, just throw it to one side and wait for the next segment, because believe you me, you're going to get it pretty damn quick. I'll see you soon.